Okay, perfect. Good evening, everybody, especially those from New Zealand. This is a special call for New Zealand. So, g'day from New Zealand. Hope you're doing very well over there. I should say, kia ora, New Zealand. Hope you're doing tops over there. And hey, look, let me first and foremost introduce myself. My name is Stevie Aquilina, and I live in Sydney, Australia. And I just want to say first that on behalf of myself and my wife and the four Aquilina boys, that's our sons, our hearts and our thoughts are with everyone in this time. I know it's a very challenging time, and I hope that everyone is staying especially well and especially safe. And, I hope that the fight for not only your health is going well, but we're not just fighting for people's lives right now. I know we're fighting for people's livelihoods as well. But I do feel very compelled to say this, that the information you're going to see this evening is not only compelling unto itself, but very relevant today, very relevant. And what you're going to learn about is something very special that the world really needs more than ever right now in more ways than one. But I will let you be the judge of that. I will let you connect the dots as we move through the information this evening with our very special guest speaker. But I'm going to jump straight into it because I know, especially in New Zealand, who we're doing this for, you're a couple hours ahead of us. So I want to be respectful of your time. Now, speaker this evening, I'm very honored not only to have him here, but to have the privilege of not just having him as my mentor, but sincerely calling him a good mate of mine, a good mate. For the past 35 years, this gentleman has been breaking records in the field of sales and marketing and network marketing. He has built organizations that have numbered in the tens of thousands internationally. He is an entrepreneur, public speaker, a tremendous business coach, master of not just business, but the mindset. He will say that a business like this is really an inside job, and he is one of the masters of helping people navigate that space. He's an adventurer. He is also a philanthropist. He is building homes in Africa, which the families there have been honored by and named their home after the founder of this company that you're going to see this evening. And one of the main founders of this company was so struck by that the next houses are going to be named after this gentleman that you're going to hear from this evening. He's a father of 8, what he calls rabbits, 8 rabbits. That's his children, and his entire life, and forevermore, I'm sure, is a search for greater purposes, with a sincere determination to better people's lives and to be a force for good in the world. So it is my great privilege to have him here this evening, and I'm sure by the end of this, you'll appreciate the same. He has the fastest growing organization, not just in Australia, but globally, within the company you're going to learn about this evening. So I want you in the chat box at the very least, please, to bid a very warm welcome to our guest, Ambassador Double Diamond, Malcolm Sword. Thanks for being on, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Stevie. And as we get started, just thank you very much for hosting this evening. And so I have Stevie host these sessions for me because I'm not very good on being able to screen share. So firstly, welcome to everyone. I know that these are interesting times, and so my message to you this evening really is one of hope for 2 reasons. One of hope for people's health, but also hope to you for your wealth. And I think really there's a number of reasons if you're here just to have a listen into this the presentation this evening. And we should be done in about 45 minutes, so I won't linger long. I'm going to get the message across to you as quickly as I can, as succinctly as I can. But I also know that I have a lot of people on the call who are possibly financially not in such a good place, as I was a few years ago. I should say, when I began my journey with this company, I was in a very, well, not a very good place at all. I'll go into that some other time. But this organization, this company has completely transformed that. So I wish the same for you. So many of you, I guess there's 3 reasons you might be on this call. One is because you are looking to generate an income, whether it's a small income. I don't doubt that some of you on the call, an extra $1,000 a month right now would be very helpful. And I'm going to share something with you that will help you to do that. Some of you on the call are looking for more than that, and we'll talk about that as well through the course of this evening. Some of you may be on the call for health reasons and for Whilst we are careful what we say about this technology, I'm always very careful about this. I can tell you that this technology has the ability to be able to help your immune system, so you can kind of connect those dots. We can't make any further claims than that for many reasons, and so I won't go into that anymore this evening. And the third thing is, you might know somebody who's really unwell, and so this technology, you want to reach out, take this technology to them to be a source of help and assistance to those people. So you're going to be here, I would imagine, for one of those three reasons, and I hope to speak to each one of those separately through the course of the presentation. So firstly, welcome, and Stevie, if you could please turn the page for me. Thank you. So for those of you that don't know, this technology is known as redox signaling molecules. And some of you on the call may be like I was a few years ago. I'd never heard of that. In fact, when my friend Danny Doyle called me, he mentioned that term, and I said, well, I've never heard of that. And so he said, well, no, at that stage, that was late 2014. And he said, but why don't you and I go across to America to meet the founders, the owners of this company, and understand what is being hailed as one of the most, if not the most significant health breakthroughs since penicillin. And so this statement, it's a very big statement. It is a very big statement. And we hope to be able to share information with you to validate that through the course of the evening, but also from other information that you can acquire from people who have asked you to come onto this link this evening. Thank you, Stevie. So the business is based on word of mouth. It enables every single person to generate a serious income on a part-time basis. So this is a perfect opportunity for a business like ours. You know, in my own situation, not really much has changed. I built the business from home. I started building it in 2016, February 2016 from home. And so does my friend Danny Doyle. Both of us have built large organizations globally from home. So it's kind of a very appropriate time to be able to look at a business like this, where all you need is, as long as you've got access to a telephone, internet, and a laptop or a tablet, you can build the business. It's how we do build this business. So it enables us to generate an income on a part-time basis, or if you've got more time on your hands, put more time into it so you can get to the cash flow sooner. But you can build this from home. That's the point, really, that this is a business you can develop from home, as most of us have done. Thanks, Stevie. So the company is known as ASEA, ASEA, and this is the global headquarters. The building was completed about 18 months ago. And ASEA is the global leader in redox signaling-based health and anti-aging technologies. In fact, it's the only one in the world. You can't acquire these redox signaling molecules anywhere else. Redox signaling molecules, for those of you that don't know, are native to the human body. If you've never heard of them, if you didn't have them in your body right now, within 10 or 15 minutes, you wouldn't be alive. So they're fundamental to life. And there's a story behind that, how the gentleman who came to acquire the technology, his name is Verdis Norton, V-E-R-D-I-S, Norton. He had been the strategist, the key strategist for Kraft Foods. And there's a very good little video that I would suggest that you go to after this presentation or over the next day or so, called The Genesis of ASEA. And it will explain how Verdis Norton came to acquire this incredible technology. From a commercial point of view, I can tell you this company carries no long-term debt. They were profitable within 9 months, very solid company, the most incredible company that I've ever worked with in my life. The people have the utmost integrity, and you'll get an inkling of that when you watch that video, The Genesis of ASEA, from Verdis Norton. He's one of the most incredible men that I've ever met in my lifetime, and I've had the privilege to meet him numerous times. Very well-run company, incredible technology. And you can imagine from somebody who was the strategist for a $38 billion company, we're in very, very good hands, being in the hands of Verdis Norton and his family. Thank you, Stevie. So here's the man himself on the left-hand side. There's an old saying, fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. The company is now ostensibly run by his son, Tyler. And many of you would have either have heard of Tyler or maybe seen his ethos training. He was over here about a month ago, whilst we could still run conferences and conventions. He spoke at the Envision conference for Australia and New Zealand about a month ago. And so just as I've mentioned just now, Verdis Norton, his background was he'd been the strategist, the key strategist for Kraft Foods. He had retired to Park City. I think his wife had hoped he'd retired to Park City in Utah. And he ended up sitting on the board of this biotech company that was trying to produce these redox signaling molecules, and they could in fact make them, they just couldn't stabilize them. And through that process, the genesis of the video will explain what happened, but how he came to actually acquire this incredible technology. Two incredible human beings. And as I mentioned, Vertus remains probably the most significant man that I have met in my lifetime. And I'm very grateful to be in business with this man. Very grateful. Thanks, Stevie. So the company was based on many years of research. Without going too much back into the history, in 1998, 3 Italian scientists won a double Nobel Prize for understanding the significance of redox signaling molecules in the human body. Prior to 1998, it was thought that the redox molecules, it was some kind of waste out of the cells. They really didn't understand what they were. They didn't understand how significant they were. And in 1998, that all changed when these 3 Italian scientists won this double Nobel Prize for understanding what redox molecules and how significant they are to the human body. And from that point, the race was on to try and produce and stabilize these redox molecules outside of the human body. That initial biotech company made the running for about 12 or 13 years, ran out of funding. They ran out of money. They were about $15 to $17 million into R&D. They asked Vertus Norton to sit on the board to raise further capital. And as a result of that, he ended up acquiring the technology. And he bought the technology, I believe it was around 2007. And then the company was actually launched after the redox molecules were stabilized, launched into the market circa 2009, 2010. We've had very significant growth year on year as a company, financially strong and profitable. As I mentioned, the company was profitable within 9 months. We've actually doubled the size. The company's doubled in size in the last 2 years. They had 50% growth in 2018, 50% growth in 2019. We're now well onto the J curve. For those of you that understand the notion of business and being in the right place at the right time, we're post-risk. We are now a 10-year-old company, and so we're not in trial anymore. We're very solid, very stable. Sales exceeded 100 million in 2017. In 2019, our latest figures are around 173 million US dollars of turnover, and the aim is to reach $1 billion within the next 5 years. And so we see us perfectly positioned ahead of the growth that will come in the next 3 years in these very significant, especially in these times, health, wellness, and anti-aging industries, very big markets. And so let me just say again, one of the things that highly attracted me to developing this as a business is that we don't have any competition. This is not a juice. It's not a super juice. It's not a lotion. It's not a potion. It is a separate category. It's a wellness category. There's a very good link that I send people to that want to understand the significance of the breakthrough in terms of the opportunity. And if you go to YouTube and you type in transformational technology and ASEA, it's a very short link. It runs for 5 minutes, but probably one of the best links that I've ever watched on being able to speak very, very succinctly to the opportunity and the window of opportunity we have. We have no competition. You can't buy redox molecules anywhere else. Very heavily patented, over 49 patents, rolling forward 20 years. So we're in a very unique, very protected space, which is very exciting for those of us that are entrepreneurs and business builders, business owners. Very exciting space to be in. Thank you, Stevie. So here's a view of the top management on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you'll see, if you just click on one more link for me, Stevie, please, the medical advisory board. So we have a lot of people on the medical advisory board, a lot of doctors, naturopaths, chiropractors, from the medical profession that vilify this technology. More than that, many of these people have actually laid down their medical practices full-time now to help deliver and drive this technology into the market, into the world. And so the people on the left-hand side, you can see Charles Funke, the CEO, Jerome Webb, the president, some of the finest business people that I've ever done business with in my entire life. So a lot of integrity, a lot of morality and decency behind this company, which I'm very excited about. Thanks, Stevie. So we're on the move. We're now open in 33 countries around the world. Maybe you can just click on one more time, Stevie. This is a graph that I've not actually seen. It's a great chart on the beginnings back there in 2009, and you can see where we are now in 2020. Interestingly enough, we've had the biggest month ever in March, and there's reasons for that. Of course, as people get to understand the significance and what this technology can do in the human body. Again, I can't say any more than that, but very significant at this time. I think there's two key things right now. More people are more concerned about their health maybe than ever been before in their lifetime. And probably equally important, more people are concerned about their finances, their financial situation, their wealth situation than ever they had been before. What's terrific, what's unique about this opportunity is you don't need capital. You can open your account with this company for $60 in Australia. I think it's about the same in New Zealand. And it is not a capital base. This is an enterprise-based business. So you don't need to invest a lot of money. You need to have some enterprise, you need to be willing to learn and work with the people that invited you here onto the webinar this evening and work together as a team. We don't just open your account and leave you and say, good luck, you probably wouldn't make it. Thank you, Stevie. That's a great chart, by the way. Thank you. Maybe we go one more slide. So we're in three of the biggest industries in the world: the health and wellness, the beauty and anti-aging, and the athletic performance. Of course, right now, I think most of us on this call, we are aware that health and wellness right now is on the minds of everybody on the planet. This is a wellness product. This is a health and wellness product. It is native to the human body. It has no toxicity. You can't be allergic to it. These molecules are native. You have them in your body. And this just allows us to be able to boost the amount, take increased amount of these redox signaling molecules. Can't hurt anybody. Even if you're on significant medications, it can't hurt you. You can't be allergic to it, and you can't overdose on it. You know, you can overdose on this water, but you can't overdose on this technology. You can't overdose on redox signaling molecules. Again, as we mentioned, the three industries here are over $4 trillion a year, and SEER has some of the most unique and advanced products in these industries. Very unique. Probably, we're told, 15 years ahead of its time. And you and I have the opportunity of being able to access this technology today and help to deliver this and drive this technology into the markets of the world. Incredibly exciting. Thank you, Stevie. So the products can do things that no other products can do because they are the only products in the world with redox signaling molecules. This is the only company that produces these redox signaling molecules, very heavily patented. Only one production facility in the world. It's in Utah. They won't outsource it. There's only 5 people actually on the planet that know how to produce these redox signaling molecules. So it's a very protected space and a very unique space. And the timing, of course, is perfect. So for those of you looking at the opportunity right now, it's the perfect time to be looking at the opportunity. It was fantastic before, but it's obviously for lots of reasons a whole lot more appropriate for people today than it was, say, a few months ago. Thank you, Stevie. So what's the saying? A picture paints 1,000 words. You can see on the outside. So these folks here, these are pictures of folks that have used the topical version, the Renew 28, which is a topical version of the redox signaling molecules. The lady on the left I know personally. Her name is Reidun Bone. She's a naturopath. She's a 45-year veteran in naturopathy from Norway. And what's interesting, a friend of hers from America sent her a tube of the Renew 28 and said, you know, start using it on your neck. And after 3 weeks, so the photo at the top was before she started, the photo at the bottom left was after 3 weeks. And she phoned a friend after 3 weeks and she said, look, I just don't think this is doing anything for me. And the friend said, well, did you do a photo? I asked you to take a photo when you started. Did you take one? She said, yes, I did. She said, well, how about we compare them? Let's look at now and let's look at then. So you can see visibly the difference in just 3 weeks. I was actually with this lady in December, and she's a good friend of mine. And through the company, we were at a conference in Hawaii, and I took a photo of her neck. Now this is now 7 or 8 years ago. Her neck today looks even better than that. She's 7 or 8 years older. She's now, I think she'd be, I hope it's not unfair to say this, she'd probably be close to 80 right now. This was probably when she was in her early 70s. But you can see the before and after shots there. It's clear. You can see exactly what the technology does. Again, non-toxic, can't hurt you. And so many people use this for anti-aging and for wrinkle removal and for all sorts of skin problems. And in fact, this was the reason that I went to look at this technology. I had an autoimmune skin problem. I had 43 years. And my interest in this initially was not commercial. It was really only for my health. But of course, as I saw the changes in people and what it was doing for people's lives, and in my own situation changed. And so I became very interested in the commercial opportunity as well. Thanks, Stevie. So this is the complete skincare range. The 2 products on the right-hand side of the screen contain redox molecules. The one on the extreme right is called Renew 28. That is, we're told 3 times to 5 times more concentrated than the liquid and the redox molecules in the bottle. And then the little needle nose tube to the left-hand side of that is the serum, and that's even more concentrated. So that would be probably 3 times more concentrated than the Renew 28. The 2 products on the left, one is a cleanser on the extreme left, and the other one is a moisturizer. They do not contain redox signaling molecules, but the company produced the skincare range at the request of thousands and thousands and thousands of associates around the world. Said, look, we are already buying a skincare range from somewhere else. Can you please produce one? And so this was actually released in the middle of 2016 as a complete skincare range. Thanks, Stevie. And of course, this is the marquee product. This is the redox signaling molecules. This was the first product that was stabilized around 2007. It was stabilized. They could make them before, but they would denature very quickly. And because of a gentleman called Dr. Gary Samuelson, he was the atomic medical physicist who managed to stabilize these redox signaling molecules. So this is the redox molecules in a liquid form that we ingest every day. Thank you, Stevie. Of course, helps many athletes. And of course, in various ways, we're all athletes. We all do life. We all lead busy lives. In my own case, I've got lots of children that are very active. And so I'm out on the tennis court playing with them, even at my age, and basketball and chasing them around. And so we're all athletes in different ways. The gentleman at the top left, his name is Cody Miller, and he's an Olympic athlete. He actually won a gold medal in Rio de Janeiro. I think it was last year, the last Olympics. The beauty about this for athletes is that it increases their performance, helps them to recover quicker, and they can't be tested. It's not a drug. So there is no toxicity. You can have a drug test. This is not a drug. So you can take this completely with no problems of repercussions or drug tests. It's completely native to the human body. So again, for many athletes, we believe that probably 5 years from now, every athlete in the world that's not using this will be at a disadvantage to those athletes who are using this technology. Thank you, Stevie. So redox signaling molecules vital to life and health are naturally produced inside every cell. So this is what they actually do. What the redox molecules do is detect cell damage, so they can be repaired or replaced or protected, and also increases the cell production of glutathione, which is the body's master antioxidant, and protects against cell damage and oxidative stress. Fundamental for the immune system. Here we go. Fundamental for the immune system, protecting against harmful bacteria, viruses, and infection. Again, we make no claims, but you can read that and understand how this is empowering the human body. Let me just say that. So people often ask me, why, if we have these redox molecules, Mal, do we need to take more? Why do we need to use this technology? And the answer to that is that we maximize these redox signaling molecules at puberty. So 13, 14, 15, we maximize them. And it's the reason, if you look at it, why kids, when they're 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, if they're 4, cut themselves, injure themselves, they heal really, really quickly. And in very large part, that's because they have an abundance of these redox signaling molecules. They have higher energy levels. They're like Energizer bunnies. And as we age, we deplete the production about 1% a year. Every decade, we drop the production of these redox molecules about 10% per year. And that's the reason why we can now take, and why we do take, these redox signaling molecules. So in my own case, I drink quite a lot of these redox molecules for lots of reasons, and I'm able to do life. I still kind of think of myself as a 30-something, and I still do life exactly as I was when I was 30. Nothing much has changed, really, except when I look in the mirror a little bit these days. But incredible that the technology will help you with your energy levels, sleep patterns, and that's for people that are well. So thank you, Stevie. So there's over 18,000 peer-reviewed articles and books on redox signaling molecules. It is, I believe, I'm told now, the fastest growing area of medical science in the world. Many, many books written on the subject, many papers being published. And for decades, scientists have tried to produce molecules outside of the body because of their significant importance for health and vitality. And after 2 decades and millions of research dollars, a sea of scientists managed to produce stabilized redox signaling molecules in perfect balance, exactly as found in healthy cells. They are bioactive, they're fleeting. It was deemed impossible when Virtus started phoning some of the leading scientists around America, and he was very well known as a strategist for Kraft Foods. He was a very well-known man. He was publicly known, and when he started calling all these scientists around America from Harvard and UCLA, every single one of them said, Virtus, you are wasting your time. You will never stabilize these redox signaling molecules. And it was only as a result of his meeting with Dr. Gary Samuelson that actually took place, and we now have the only stabilized bioactive redox signaling molecules on the planet. Thank you, Stevie. So it's patented, as I've mentioned, the production process, and is therefore the only company in the world that produces with products that contain these vital redox signaling molecules. There's the plant. I've actually been to that installation. That's in Utah, in just outside of Salt Lake City in Utah. And every single batch, actually, I'll come to that in a second, the bioagilitics confirmation. So, but they're the three products that we produce that have the redox signaling molecules in them. And I want to just address something as I remember before I forget. The redox signaling molecules on the left, of course, is the marquee product. It was the first product they managed to stabilize, liquid form, ingest it 2 or 3 times a day, depending on your situation. The Renew 28 is the topical version. You apply that in your face. It's very good for anti-aging, very good for cellulite issues with cellulite, and very good for the treatment of the skin problem that I had was an autoimmune problem. And then the serum on the left-hand side is more intense. So you'd use that probably on your face, scarring, those kind of areas. Let me just address something. One of the things that happens when people first look at this, many people look at this, when you want to do your own research on this, and we can send you a lot of information, but when you want to do your own research, there's 2 places that I would guide you. One is to Google Scholar. Go to Google Scholar, do your own research on redox molecules. And the other place to go to is PubMed, PubMed.gov. That stands for publicmedicine.gov. It's an American website, and you can go there and research redox signaling molecules and diabetes. Redox signaling molecules, you can connect a lot of information there. And redox molecules are redox molecules. So you can kind of connect the dots. The redox molecules you have in the body are identical to the redox molecules that are in this bottle. Now, if you go to Google, one of the things that comes up on Google when people go there, they say, oh, it's just expensive salt water. Well, as you know, you can put anything on Google that you want to. Let me give you 3 answers to that. Let me kind of take care of that one up front, because I know a lot of people do this. I've had a lot of people over the years said, oh, I've been to Google, it says it's salt water. Let me give you 3 answers to that. The owner of this company, Verdis Norton, we've spoken about him earlier, incredibly clever man, very astute, very high in integrity. But I don't think even Verdis Norton would be able to go to the Pacific Ocean, take a bucket of water to the patent's office and say, listen, can you give me 49 patents on this? Salt water from the Pacific Ocean. Can you patent it for me? I don't think so. You're not going to get 49 overlapping patents on salt water. Come on. Number 2, if you've ever put salt water in your eye, put salt water in your right eye and tell me how that feels. Well, anytime I've had salt water in my eye, it weeps, it goes red, and it's really irritated for a period of time. So if you put salt water in your right eye and then put redox molecules in your left eye and tell me if you notice there's a difference. They're not the same. You put redox molecules in your left eye. I put molecules in my eyes every single day and have done for the last 3 years. And the third one, which is probably even more scientific, if you want, is that we have a company, there's a company called Bioagilitics, an independent laboratory. It is not owned by ASEA. They have no cross ownership. Bioagilitics is an independent laboratory that actually works for 20 of the top 25 pharmaceutical labs in the world. And every 4th batch that ASEA produces, they test. And they certify that every one of those batches is full of bioactive redox signaling molecules. Bioagilitics would never put their name to that, would never put their names, and they're on the bottles, if they weren't full of bioactive redox signaling molecules. So those are the 3 tests that you can, when people say that you can kind of use common sense really, but you know, that's what people go to Google. I understand that. Thanks, Stevie. This is the gentleman that stabilized the redox signaling molecules. Interestingly enough, when I first went to look at this with my friend Danny Doyle back in late October 2014, there was about 40 of us in the boardroom. Verdis Norton was the head of the table in the boardroom, and I was sitting next to this gentleman. Well, I didn't know who he was. I introduced myself to him, and I said, nice to meet you. My name's Mel Sword. I'm from Brisbane, Australia. And he said, nice to meet you. My name is Dr. Gary Samuelson, and he's from Utah. But I didn't know who that was. It didn't mean a lot to me until, you know, during the course of the afternoon, I found out that he had been the man who had stabilized, excuse me, these redox molecules. And excuse me a second. I'm talking too fast. Excuse me. And there were 2 comments that I remember from that afternoon in the boardroom. And one of them was made by this man. I hope you get a chance to meet him. He's a very humble man, as is Vertis. Very humble men, very quiet man, very unassuming man, but a genius as well, I believe. And he made this comment. He said, "We believe this is the most significant health breakthrough since penicillin." And I know that's a big statement. And when I first heard that, my brain kind of went into, wow, that sounds a bit like BS to me. But I didn't say anything. There was 40 people in the room. And look, I'm not an atomic medical physicist. I'm not from a medical background. And so as my brain started spinning around, I thought, well, hang on a minute. This man's an atomic medical physicist. Maybe, Mal, maybe, just maybe, he knows something that you don't know. Could that possibly be the case? And of course, I've learned since that, yes, of course it is. And the other comment that was made that afternoon was made by Vertis Norton. And he said, if people really understood this technology, we'd be bigger than Apple overnight. And I also agree with that comment as well. This is an incredible breakthrough. And this is a comment made by Dr. Gary Samuelson. The technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health that we've ever seen. Many people are claiming 15 years ahead of its time. Thank you, Stevie. This is interesting. This is a gentleman, I think he's a veterinarian, a US veterinarian. And you can see what he did. He wanted to test. Some people say, I want to see if this, they call it stuff. I want to see if this actually works. And so what he did, I think his name's Dr. Moran. He used the Renew 28 for 30 days, just on the right-hand side, left of screen, but right-hand side of his face. And you can visibly see the difference in his face. And actually take a look at his glasses. It almost looks like he's got Bell's palsy on the left-hand side of his face. Looks like it's dropped. But that's just using it on one side of his face. After a month, his wife said, come on, start using it on other stuff. On the other side, you look ridiculous, because it kind of looks a bit strange. He does now use the Renew on both sides of his face, but it clearly shows the difference using it on one side and not the other. Thanks, Stevie. And again, this is on, common wrinkles. And this gentleman didn't use it for very long, though. Twice a day for 3 days, then once a day for 3 days. So that's not very long. Most people see results 30, 60, 90 days. In fact, the protocols we have with this technology now, just for your information, after 10 years, is that about 5 to 10% of people see results in a matter of days. I've had people literally within a day seeing results on this technology, but that's a small number of people, 5 to 10%. About 30% will see a result in 30 days, 60% in 60 days, and 90% in 90 days. My dear old, some people take a little longer. My dear old auntie, who's now 88 and now a box of fluffy ducks. I tell people she drinks a lot of this REDOX, a lot, because I pay for it. But she's doing life as well as I've ever seen her. She's 88 and vibrant. But it took her 4.5 months before she had a major breakthrough. So some people are a little bit longer, about 10% of people are a little bit longer than that. Again, it depends on what you're dealing with, the conditions you're dealing with, and why you are taking this technology. Thank you, Stevie. Again, you can see the visible difference on this. The young man went from being dateless to lots of dates on the right-hand side. Thanks, Stevie. This was actually the condition. I won't mention what it is. Some of you will know what this condition is. And interestingly enough, for those of you in New Zealand, I actually contracted this problem. As a young man, I was 19. I was on a working holiday in New Zealand. I was in a little place called Tapanui in New Zealand. I was working in a sawmill, and I had my right arm crushed in a conveyor belt in Tapanui, and I ended up in the Dunedin hospital. And then about 6 weeks later, I ended up with a skin problem that was caused by a massive shock to my nervous system. And every doctor I ever went to said, you'll never get rid of it. You'll never get rid of it. I won't mention it, but they'll say, you'll never get rid of it. And it's only been with this technology that I've been able to deal with this after many, many years. And this was the challenge that I was having. And when I first went to look at this technology, this was the reason why. Thank you. Thanks, Stevie. These are just little blemishes, I guess. I'm not sure what you call those, but little facial blemishes. But have a look under the little red box. Have a look under there, and you can see the lines on the lady's neck. People don't notice that. They just tend to focus on the little red box. But you also look at the lines on the neck, how improved they are as well. Again, this is visible. You can't always see what's going on the inside, but we can show you photos and what this technology does for the outside. And, redox molecules are redox molecules. So the same redox molecules going on the outside work from the outside in, also work from the inside out. Thank you, Stevie. This is really interesting. Here are some studies on the left-hand side on the Renew 28 4-week study, and you can see the markers there. The most significant one there is a 50% increase in blood flow, and that has a lot of benefits. You can also use this product, the Renew 28. So often we'll use this in live presentations, which of course we can't really do right now, but in live presentations, if we have people that have got, some pains in their joints, we ask them to apply the Renew 28 3 times in 5 minutes and rate the pain before they start. So if you're listening to this and you have some pain issues somewhere in your body, ask your friend or somebody who's invited you to this webinar to let you have some of the Renew 28 and apply it to the area that's in pain and rate the pain before you start, and then apply the gel 3 times in 5 minutes. You apply the gel once, let it dry, then a second time, let it dry, and then 3 times, let it dry, and then 10, 15 minutes later, rate the pain. And I did this actually yesterday because I've been playing tennis with my sons, and my right arm that was severely disabled, in fact, it's from that crushing injury, was 75% disabled. It gets a little bit of pain after I play tennis because the arm was mangled. I applied the Renew 28, and I was thinking yesterday, I applied it 3 times in 5 minutes. Within 15 minutes, the pain had all but disappeared. It was just incredible. So you can see the markers there from the Renew 28. On the right-hand side of the screen, Stevens & Associate is a US company. Dermatest is a German company. And Dermatest will not give a 5-star rating if any one of the recipients had an adverse effect to the product. And this was on a Renew Advanced. This is the serum, the little needle nose, which is the most concentrated REDOX technology that the company produces. And again, very useful on your face, very good for scarring. Anyway, you've got scarring, you can use this Renew. People ask me, why don't I use that instead of the Renew? It's more expensive. If you've got an unlimited budget, you can use it everywhere. Of course you can, but if you're, for those people on a little bit of a budget, then this is for fine lines and on your face and maybe just scarring areas. But look at the markers here: 100% improvement within 4 weeks in fine lines. Skin smoothness improved 95%, 85% improvement in radiance. Look, I mean, every one of us on this call, we're completely honest. Most of us want to look younger, longer. I know I do. People say you must be vain. Probably I am, but most of us just want to look well, healthy, vibrant, and keep that going as long as we possibly can. And here we have a technology that's completely native to the human body. No toxicity, can't hurt you, and you can use as much of it as you can. No toxicity. It's incredible. Thank you, Stevie. So again, this is the inside out, the REDOX molecules. This is the marquee product. People report that are well, less fatigue, better sleep, improved health, and improved mood and less discomfort. Let me just say this, if I may. When I'm enrolling people, when I'm opening people's accounts that want to use this product, and again, I'm sensitive to people's financial situation, so this may not be for you right now if you're just looking at this. But one of the things that I do when people say, look, I'm really well, is that litre bottle, that will last you a week. That's the recommended dose for somebody who's well. What I do when I'm starting people for the first time is I ask them to take 2 bottles a week for the first month. And people say, why do you do that? I said, because I want people to feel the result of it quickly. We're an instant society. People these days, they want to see instant results. They want to see something from this for themselves. I understand that. And when you drink 2 bottles a week instead of 1, you will feel it. And all of these things, you should report less fatigue, better sleep, improved health, improved mood, and less discomfort. That's exactly what you'll feel. Again, I'm sensitive that if you're not able to do that, then 1 bottle is fine. But if you can do 2 for the first month, better still. And then you'll feel it. Now after that, you just go. If you're nothing wrong with you, go to the maintenance dose, which is 1 litre. That bottle is a litre per month. Thanks, Stevie. So significant impact for athletes, athlete performance, endurance, strength, recovery, mental stamina. There's a very good, if you go to YouTube, Google a man called James Lawrence, Lawrence. He's known as the Iron Cowboy. And in 2015, James Lawrence, listen to this, he did 50 Ironman events in 50 days in 50 states. Now, he didn't compete, but he did the event. And he was supervised in 50 different states in America. And every day he did an Ironman event in 50 different states over 50 days. Nobody's ever done it before. I don't think anybody else will do it again. And he drank 3 bottles of a Sea a day for recovery, 3 bottles every single day, just so he could back up and go again. Now, it's not the only thing he did. I'm sure he did lots of other things, but that was one of the things that he did to help recovery, for stamina, endurance, and to keep him going. 3 bottles a day. Now, I've never heard anybody else take that amount, but you know, when you're doing 50 Ironman events in 50 days, likely you'd probably need 3 bottles a day. Thanks, Stevie. Maybe just keep going through. Thank you. So these are some of the athletes. There's a link there that you might want to write down. Athletes.asiaglobal.com. Lots of different testimonials. We have a lot of Olympians, a lot of different athletes, weightlifters, you can see, boxers, all having terrific results from using this technology. Again, can't be allergic to it, can't be drug tested for it. Thank you, Stevie. This is an interesting article, came from the Huffington Post, June 2016. If you just click on one more time, we'll just read from the Huffington Post. Here are 5 of the craziest game-changing technologies that are starting to take off in 2016. Pay attention, some of these will shape our lives in the coming years. Organic electronics, nutrigenomics, synthetic biology, and redox signaling technology. Redox molecules have been around for eons, but it isn't until recently that we've learned about their central importance in our health on a cellular level. New technologies are emerging that inserts a SEER, redox molecules, healthy redox signaling molecules into your body, helping to repair and replenish your aging cells. Since we're made up entirely of cells, every organ in your body can potentially benefit from this new technology. And I want to emphasize again, only one company on this planet is producing these redox signaling molecules. Thank you, Stevie. So let's now go into the little bit about the business plan, generating serious income by introducing contacts to a SEER without changing your schedule. Now, of course, many people in the world today have a changed schedule, not through their own design, but you have a changed schedule. Many of you are working or at home, working from home. And this is a business, as I mentioned before, you can build from home. If you've got a laptop, if you've got internet, you've got a telephone, you can make connections. And what we suggest you do, the best way to start a business like this is to work with the person that invited you. So one of the things we don't do is open your account and say, well, good luck, hope you make it. It's to work with the person who invited you that's got some experience, that can help you to reach out to other people and teach you what we say to people, how we connect with other people. Most people today, or many people today are at home, and many people are looking for another way of developing an income stream. As I mentioned before, even if it's $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month, but some, of course, are looking for an exit strategy. Some have had their superannuation or their retirement funds damaged, let me just say that, in recent weeks. And so this is by building a business. It's word of mouth. It's a simple business to build and, of course, not capital-based. Thanks, Stephen. So you refer contacts, you'll get paid. So every time they use the products and then they refer people and they referred people, it's classic word of mouth. And it's actually the number one method in the world of getting a product to market. Number 2, by the way, is SEO, search engine optimization. But you build this properly in a relatively short period of time, you can create residual income, an exit strategy, a plan where you have an income that even during times like this, your income retains, its residual goes on, whether you continue to build it or not. That's what pretty much every one of us want, to get to a place in our life where we can have some comfort, some dignity, some security, and the flow of money after we're either not able to work anymore or we don't want to work anymore. So, and all of that is attainable with this model. Now, not 2 weeks. It's going to take you a little time. Residual income, I believe, with this model at this time, anywhere between 9 months and 3 years. That's kind of your model. If you want to take longer, a little bit longer, that's up to you, but it can be done very quickly. We've got people in the world doing this very, very fast at the moment. So you'll also be paid from the contacts. Again, this is creating distribution channels. So people tell people, we look for key people. We look for people that are visionary. Remember the 3 categories: people that are looking for an income opportunity, but some are just looking for a product that because they're not well, or some people, you might not be well, but so some people just looking at this for the product to get well, that's fine. You know, if you're on the call because you've got a serious health challenge, I would talk to you about that. But a lot of people in these times, I'm talking to people all the time, and their incomes have been, really damaged, and their finances have been really damaged. So there are many people around the world now looking for an opportunity, not capital-based. You can build. We're currently in 33 countries. Again, I do Zoom calls to America and to New Zealand and to Martinique and France, Spain, Switzerland, all over the world from my kitchen. It's exactly how we build this. I mean, Zoom is a tremendous way of being able to build a business like this, especially in these times. But this is exactly how it works. You create the distribution channels, and you can create those distribution channels in New Zealand. You can create them in Asia. You can create them in Europe. Let me just speak to this. The biggest biggest area, I believe, is in this sector. There may be some people on this call from America, but I believe the biggest sector for this technology in the world will be in this Asian region, and it's part of Australasia, New Zealand, and into Asia. And when people ask me, Mel, why do you say that? I said, 3 reasons. Number one, most Asians work very hard. They're very hard working. They're very diligent. So they look at a business like this and they work very hard. The largest organization I have in this country is Chinese, is Asians from Melbourne. It's the largest organization I have in this country. The number 2 reason is the Asians generally very excited, maybe fanatical about looking younger, anti-aging. And here's a technology that allows that without any toxicity. That's the second reason. The third reason is it's the largest populated area in the world is in Asia. More than 50% of the world's population are in this region. Let me put that in commercial context. The company ASEA has been open for 10 years now. Mexico has been open about 9 years, Canada, and a lot of the European countries open 8 or 9 years as well. Taiwan in Asia opened its doors with ASEA in February 2018, 2 years ago. It's now the 2nd biggest market in the world. By the way, the 3rd biggest market in the world is in Australia. We have 3 of the top 10 business builders in Australia. We don't have many leaders in New Zealand yet, which is why we're looking to New Zealand, and we're looking to find some key leaders because there's not many big leaders. There's product going in there, but there's not many big leaders. So we're there to look for people who want to lead the charge into not just New Zealand, it won't stay in New Zealand, but into this, especially into this Asian distribution channel. But if you build this properly, you'll have distribution channels all over the world, as I do now. I think I have business in every one of the 33 countries, but then others as well that are not yet fully open. We have business in there as well. Thanks, Stevie. So what you do is completely up to you. Business is designed to do part-time around your existing schedule. A business like this part-time, let me just address that, is anywhere between 8 hours to 15 hours a week. However, the business is not linear, it's exponential. So if somebody says, I want to build this quickly, if I put in 30 hours a week, because I've got the time now, if I put in 30 hours a week, will I have twice the results of somebody putting in 15 hours a week? No, you won't. You'll have 3 to 5 times the results. The effort is exponential in a business like this, because it's not just about you and what you do. It's about growing a team, and it's about what the team does. So it becomes exponential and can build exponentially very quickly, especially at this time. So it's part-time. As in any business, cost of getting registered, getting started, not capital-based. That's great news for most people on the call that are looking at this. We're not after your capital. We're already capitalized. $60, you open your account, and there's various different product packages. I won't go through all those this evening. The person that invited you to this call can go through those with you maybe after the call or tomorrow. But there's a variety of different packages. Thank you, Stevie. 8 ways to earn income. There's a very good link that I would send you to called amazingmoleculestraining.com. All one word, amazing, A-M-A-Z-I-N-G, molecules with an S, training.com. And on that, one of the big leaders in America, his name is Alan Noble, does a very good compensation plan video on that link. So you can watch that. 8 different ways to make money. Ultimately, our business income is generated by volume. So keeping it simple terms, if you have 10 people in your organization, not a lot of people, not a lot of income. If you have 20,000 people in your business, a lot of volume, a lot of income with the right structure. And so it's about creating volume. Our job, our role is to find key people and to create these distribution channels around the globe. And to the extent that we do that, income is developed from the volume that flows through those distribution channels. Thank you, Stevie. Okay, let's go through the training very quickly. I'm almost done, about another 5 minutes and we'll be through. Thank you for being patient. Extremely simple to do. Anyone can do it. Quick start training. The key to this, if you've not built a business like this, is to work with somebody who can help you. Work with somebody that's a little experienced. Reach out to people. Work as a team. We don't build this individually. None of us build this individually. All of us work as a team. So you're in business for yourself, but you're certainly not in business by yourself. Again, we're not going to register you and say, well, good luck. You wouldn't make it unless you knew how to do this. But even I've had a lot of help from people in my support team to help me to create a business like this. So we work it very much as a team. You can see the various levels. Let me just give you some indicators as you move your way up the mountain. Direct to 700, let's just look at that. That's 2 or 3 levels up there. You can do that within a couple of weeks, really. Let's say a month, something like that, if you're diligent. That would be worth, I'm going to use Australian dollars, direct to 700, who's doing that every single week over the 4 weeks. You would expect to earn somewhere between $800 and $1,000 at that level. If you move up two ranks to the silver executive level, again in Australian dollars, I would expect that you would earn in Australia around 5,000 Australian dollars. When I was at that rank, it was a little bit more than that, but let me take an average, about $5,000 per month. Now, if you're saying, well, how long do you think that might take? It really depends on the number of hours that you put in, how diligent you are and on a consistent basis. But in this market at this time, you could reach that anywhere between, let me say, 2 months and 4 months in there. If it takes you 5 months, that's fine. But in that kind of area, that's what it should take you in there. It shouldn't take any longer than that if you're diligent and you're being focused on building this as a business. That's kind of a guide to the income there. Thanks, Stevie. When you open your account, you get your own back office. It's very user-friendly. As many of you have already gathered, I'm not very high-tech, but the back office is very user-friendly. I've always found it to be very straightforward to navigate, and most people do. So even if you're not high-tech, and I'm not high-tech, you can get into the back office. It's got all the vital stats of your business. It's very good, and it's included when you open your account. That's all included. You get all this with your enrollment for $60. So you get all this as well. So Resil will become one of the biggest companies within the health, wellness, and anti-aging industries of all time. I have no doubts about that at all. Very unique category, very unique technology. The timing is right, perfect time to take this to the world. Very unique opportunity, as that little link, transformational technology and ASEA will allude to. It's very, very well done. Thanks, Stevie. So time for action. For those you want to build, great time to get on board and make a decision. It's not a big decision. It's not a $60,000 or $600,000 decision. It's a $60 decision. Get in and work with somebody who invited you, and let's take some action. There's a lot of people, I think more people than ever, looking right now for extra ways of creating income. Thanks, Stevie. Okay, so you're looking to identify referrals to people who want to make some changes now. Build a business or become a preferred customer. I always encourage people to open their account, take a position. When people look at this product, one of the questions I ask them is, would you rather pay wholesale or retail? Of course, everybody says, no, I'd rather pay wholesale. I'd rather pay wholesale. My heritage is Scottish, so I'd rather pay wholesale. But if you pay wholesale, you buy wholesale, buy at the same buy price that we buy, and you get a position in the binary model, and you'll get a position so that when other people come in, they'll come in underneath you in your business as well. So you get that as well. I won't go into all the details of that. The person invited you can go through that. Thank you, Stevie. When you begin a business like this, understand that one of the reasons you work with somebody to help you is that, when you reach out to people, not everybody's in the looking zone. Please be aware that, it's like being a plumber and quoting 10 jobs in a week. You don't get 10 jobs, you might get 3 or 4. So when you reach out to people and ask them, and we have a very specific script that you can get a hold of, Johnny, you open to looking at other income options, not everybody's going to say yes. I found that even people that should say yes sometimes don't. They should. I'm kind of aware of their financial situation, but they don't, and that's fine. We're not here to force anybody to build a business like this. You can't force people to do anything. This is just about an invitation, offering people what many of us believe is the most incredible opportunity right now for so many reasons. But still in all, the question is, and the reason we draw this roller coaster is avoid the ups and downs. Just build it emotionally neutral. Some people are ready, some people aren't. Just keep moving and find the people that are ready to go right now. Thank you, Stevie. So 3 groups of people: red apples, green apples, rotten apples. The red apples look at this. Generally, they look at this opportunity, and sometimes I use the saying, it should be like waving raw meat in front of a savage dog. People a lot of people just get this. They get how unique it is. We don't have any competition. It's not capital based. We can reach the world. We can build it from home. It's just a very unique opportunity for the time. And so the red apples, if you can just click on one more, say yes, look great. Open my account, help me get started. And this is what I want. This is my goal. I'd like to make $1,000 the next month or 2 months, and get started, get going. It's not a huge capital investment. The green apples, they've got some questions. Fine, we'll happily answer those. There's so much information we can send to you to help you to make the answers. But here's the thing: you're either going to go up and join us, or it's not your timing. That's fine. And the rotten apples doesn't mean to say they're rotten people. It's just they're not looking. They're not in the looking zone. They're probably happy doing what they're doing. I don't know, but they're not really looking for an opportunity like this. They might later, but they're not right now. Thanks, Stevie. And so when you go to market, you're going to find a combination. You're going to find, this is exactly what I found in the 4 years that I've been working with this incredible company, ASEA. I found some people are looking ready to go right now. And you'll tend to attract who you are. So what I've watched over the years is the big leaders seem to attract big leaders. The visionary people seem to attract visionary people. The people that don't think much about this or about their own potential tend to attract people like that. There's laws that kind of govern our universe, and definitely, the key is to become a red apple. Make yourself a red apple, then you're going to find them. So once you're a red apple, you'll tend to attract the red apples. Red apples do find red apples. The same as, monkeys produce monkeys, rabbits produce rabbits. Key leaders produce key leaders. That's kind of how the world is kind of set up at the moment. And the goal is like this. You want to have an organization of leaders, find leaders that find leaders and find leaders. And that's exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for these. Each of these is entrepreneurs. We're looking for a bunch of these in New Zealand right now. It's a very quiet market. I mentioned before the rank of silver executive. That is the highest rank in New Zealand right now. And ASEA has been open in New Zealand for about 5 years, 4 or 5 years. And that's the highest rank. In Australia right now, we have 3 ambassador triple diamonds in Australia. So we're looking to find a few of those in New Zealand. So you will identify yourselves by what you do. And many of us are here to support you and help you and do what we can to encourage you and share with you information to help you to build this business, again, not just in New Zealand, but into this Asian and world region. Thank you, Stevie. We're nearly done. Oh, whether we're done. So what now? Call the person who invited you and join us on this incredible journey. It's a great place to be doing business. At this time, it's incredible. I speak to people in the last 10 days that are kind of just their whole worlds have been changed, and we have a solution. We offer a solution for those people. We offer hope, and we build it as a team. So please don't think you're going to be on your own. We will build this to help you. We build this together. I want to start running these webinars into New Zealand weekly. I won't be doing it every week. You'll get sick of me pretty quickly. So we'll bring on competent speakers, builders, people that have built the business to a significant level that can help you. So I think if it's helpful to you, and I'll wait for the feedback, but I think, we'll do one of these every single week. And so if you've got people that are looking, if you've got people that are in the looking zone, wanting to get more information and to hear from somebody who's been involved in the business for a few years, some will be a lot longer than I have possibly, then we'll do that for you on a weekly basis. So I hope that's been helpful to you. Still very early days in New Zealand. You really have a very exciting place in New Zealand because they're just not really. We have no diamonds there yet. We will do, and some of you are on the way, I'm sure. But thank you very much for attending. I hope it's been helpful to you. Please thank you, Stevie, as well for hosting this, for kind of being my wingman on these webinars. Thank you very much for hosting this. I really appreciate it. Thank you for doing this again, and thank you all very much for listening. I hope it's been helpful, and I'll say good night. So I'll just mute myself and pass it back to you, Stevie. So thank you, everyone, and good evening.
Swordmaster, thank you so much. I think I can say confidently on behalf of everybody here. I haven't even opened the chat box yet, but I reckon there's a lot of thank yous going on there. There is. So I told you folks that you're in for a treat. I'm pretty confident to say that I think you'll know I was right now. So as Mel said, please get back to the person that introduced you here this evening. Jump on this tremendous journey with us. Empower yourself and others, if you will, to live healthier, younger, and for longer, better people's lives, and altogether we will be a force for good in the world. So I want to thank you all for giving us your time this evening. And Swordmaster, again, thank you so much. What a great session. Appreciate you. Oh, by the way, just to answer some people's questions, I have recorded this and we'll get it uploaded tonight and out to Mal and I suppose to other respected leaders, and then it'll get out to everybody who wishes for it. Thank you so much.